The bulk of what I recognize from your content, what you would say, is like empowering men in a way that hasn't been a thing for the last 10 years.
And that's what they're afraid of. So what they do is they want to attach my name to heinous allegations so that when people say my name, they don't discuss my ideas, they discuss the allegations.
Right.
When they say Andrew Tate, they say Andrew Tate accused of, instead of saying Andrew Tate who talks about, because they're afraid of.
Welcome to Just the Guys Podcast.
What's up, fellas? It is 6:30 on a Saturday. You know what time it is. It's time for Just the Guys. What's up, fellas? What's up? What's up? What's up? Guys, make sure you hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, share this podcast. Remember, this is your weekly home for bringing back shame. And, you know, we want to stick to that. Also, subscribe to all the other Metro Conservative Media shows, Poppin' Politics, Just the Guys, of course, that's us here, KJ Christian Conservative, as well as All American Talk. Guys, just shout out to Metro Conservative Media. We have now 4 monetized channels. So yeah, we're growing. And if you think you got what it takes, go to metroconservativemedia.com and click join the movement. Guys, so we're going to get right into it. The manosphere. Now, this is just the guys. So this is the first time we talked about the manosphere, I think. But it's reason I want to start with you on this, man, because you're a manosphere guy. I know you're a black manosphere, but what is the point of the manosphere?
Well, to first, was your question, is it in trouble? Is something like,
what's the point? What's the point of it?
What's the point of it? The point of the manosphere, or red pill leading into the manosphere, is the fact that we've gone for a specific period of time in which we've had songs like No Scrubs, or put a baseball bat through Louisville Slugger in both headlights, and all of that good stuff. And that's become normalized to the point in which we have people like, back in the day, Beyonce singing songs like Cater to You, and then songs like that now being pushed as anti-feminist and all of that good stuff. So the manosphere has been predominant really for about the last, I give it 10 years, but it really came out as something that was really brought to the forefront in the last 5 years. But all it was pretty much stating was, you know, that we are, like, it's our feelings count and matter as men. So it's not anti-feminist. It's just, if, you know, it's, we have. So
is it male equality, would you say?
I'm not going to say it's male. Is it male equality? No, it's just being able to be. There's always been equality. It's just being able to be, and it's okay to be a man. That's it. It's okay to be that, and everything that goes along with that, whether it's masculinity, whether it's being chauvinistic, being, you know, or even opening doors for the things that go along with men in general. It's okay to do that. And since 1968 and the feminist movement, all that good stuff, the thought process has been, you know what? No, it's not okay to do that.
Okay, so Andrew Tate's back in the media. It seems like he came back to America. He's making his rounds. Like, so Gimpy, you talked about, because he got in some trouble in Romania or something like that, right? And he's back. You say he's misrepresenting the trouble that he got in.
Misrepresenting it. The case isn't over. It just got reset on them because they had in Romania. If the prosecution makes a mistake, it gets reset. It's not like here in America you get a chance to correct it. If you make certain mistakes, the cases get told that this is no longer, you have to start over, and they have to start from the beginning, collecting the evidence again, everything. It's all, you can't reuse the stuff. You have to go out and refine it again. It's a process that they have to go through. It's Romanian retarded administration, but it's not that he got off, that he's innocent. Dude said it on camera himself. And then we're supposed to take it that, it's a joke. I didn't mean it the way I said. Like, this man, by his own admission, is a sex trafficker. And he tries to make it, it's like, I have this one black friend, I'm not a racist. He uses one of the women that he groomed because she is groomed and will say what he wants. And that's his trophy. Look, this is my girl, this who. and she says everything's fine. And the fact that he's being platformed now by all the woke right just validates this whole concept that he's not a bad guy, that his voice deserves, and there's no consequence, because audience size is more important than message. Because, again, not to insult any of the manosphere, but the manosphere is more of 2025 up in my feelings year. I've been saying this all year, that this is the year of everybody up in their feelings. And maybe once the manosphere served the purpose to offset.
Yeah, you might cut out a little bit there.
We have no clue what you're saying.
You might cut out a little bit.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
So I was just saying that the manosphere is more of 2025 up in our feelings. Maybe once the manosphere had a purpose, that it's the offset to radical feminism, but like all the things today, it's turned into just another way we climb into our feelings and cry about it. So I'm sorry, this whole thing with Andrew Tate is just more proof that it's just about content making. They don't care what the message they're sending. They care about getting clicks and viewers in front of the screen. They would platform Hitler. And the woke right would easily let him have a place to speak today. Stalin, Mao, Lenin, any of them. I mean,
what message do you think they're sending?
Is that they rather get clicks and paid. Dude, it's all about
that's what the
paid.
manosphere
Otherwise,
is now?
Qatar wouldn't have his influence over so many of these right-leaning influencers, wouldn't be taking checks from Qatar. They wouldn't. Morally, they'd be opposed to doing deals with the front office of global terrorism.
Okay, so you think the manosphere today is just for clicks? It has no.
I think maybe you want to talk about some grassroots stuff that you may be involved in. That's reality. Yeah, you want to talk about Con Inc. Yeah, Con Inc. is for clicks, and they bring people up to put controversy on this. They didn't bring Andrew Tate up because he made some brilliant points. They brought him up because they know that millions of people will click on the screen whether they like him or not. The same thing with Candace Owens going on Theo Vaughn and Dan Blazarian getting a platform when he was one of the most hedonistic guy. All of a sudden, he's a spiritual guru to all of us. Like, again, Con Inc., the business is about clicks. I'm not.
So CT. So do we still need the manosphere, or like, were you familiar with the manosphere?
Very familiar.
Okay, cause you were on like Lapeef and all that stuff before, right?
Yes.
Okay, so is that considered manosphere?
No, that's more relationship content, black love relationship, black relationship content.
Okay, all right, cool. So I guess in the essence of well, I mean, is it Kevin Samuels manosphere too?
He was manosphere.
He was black manosphere.
So black manosphere. So I'm trying to understand this stuff, man. I guess I'm so far away from it.
Yeah, but we're in a
the crazy thing is he got to a point. He got to a point though in which he became so big that he actually started to transcend race, and had people of other cultures and other countries calling a 10 o'clock show from Australia at like 9 a.m. So he actually probably transcended black manosphere.
See, but I think we live in this is what I mean. I don't think the Kevin Samuel age exists anymore, where there are dudes out there he might have been doing it to make a living, but he meant it. He meant what he was doing. He believed the awful things he said to people, and he thought it would help them change. And I mean, I don't disagree.
Is somebody who just watched a bunch of clips.
Need to hear it that way. Like, I don't disagree with that, but that's what I'm saying. Like, we don't live in that age anymore. I think people are trying to emulate the Kevin Samuel. They're trying to recapture that for monetization purposes. I don't think they make authentic content the way Soldiers makes his content about the mayors and everything, like the take he has on politics. That's an authentic take. That's real. These people are looking at things that are models and just trying to recreate them to get paid. And
so let me ask CT, is the manosphere movement, is that dead now, or is it just under another attack? Because we saw but Andrew Tate coming back to the country. He went to some Republican club down in Florida, and they blew that up. They're saying, hey, he shouldn't have been there. And now he's making the rounds on the podcast. He was just on PBD. But is the manosphere movement, is it dead, or is it just being attacked right now?
Neither. It's not dead, or it's neither being attacked. It like Gippy said, you have insanely intelligent people who have figured out how to exploit stupid people. Uh, the manosphere is a bunch of losers, to be honest.
Mm.
The guys involved, they're incels. They're losers. They haven't figured life out. They haven't figured out how to win. And they look up to a guy like Andrew Tate. He's relatively good looking, I guess. He's tall. He's in shape. Him and his brother. And they say the things like trigger words. You know, these guys are just not the Tate brothers. They don't have a problem with women, but the masses of men haven't figured out that times are shifting, relationship dynamics are shifting, and women's or Western women, their viewpoints on male dynamics are shifting. They haven't figured it out. They haven't figured out how to win. So now they resent women and hate women, and now you have these two figures or these five figures who say things about women that they like, and it's like a, I don't know, man. It's like a game of not telephone, but it's like a reassurance. You know, oh, it's not me, it's women. It's not me, it's women. It's not me, it's women. You know, so yeah, I don't think it's dead at all. I just think it's just a fad or something. You know, yeah. Oh yeah.
So was it needed though, or is it needed?
Yeah, it's needed to keep. This is where I don't know if I disagree with Gippy on this, or maybe there's no disagreement. I think it is needed. I think the Tate brothers have probably saved thousands of lives right now. I mean, think about how many people probably would have gone out and started shooting people or something, you know. But think about a guy who's just a loser. He's listening to these guys, and maybe that keeps them at bay. You know, maybe that keeps them calm. Maybe that's therapeutic to listen to these guys. You know, so it's not me. It's the world. It's not me, right? So I think the Tate brothers give losers hope.
Okay, so I'm gonna move it outside of the Tate brothers, okay, because I think the manosphere will always be here as long as there are more women than there are men. I believe that the manosphere will be here. It will continue to thrive in whatever and I think, quite frankly, if you remove the Tate brothers from it, the manosphere was good before them, and they'll be good after them. All the manosphere did was create space for men to finally be like, I don't care what you think, and it's all right for me to think this way.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking about incels or people like that or whatever you want to call it. I'm talking about just normal men who believe who get attacked for just being masculine and it being called toxic.
So I get, hold on, I'm confused now though, because you know we got the whole thing about men rule the world. And we got men making the laws, and we got men, just running the country. And now we have men saying we need a space for us. Tyrone, can you respond to that, or because I am kind of confused now. If Chad, reason that's your explanation. Go ahead, Tyrone.
I have more, but I'll wait.
Please enlighten us, Bling, because I'm very confused as well.
Look, I'm not. I come from the generation before this manosphere thing. You know, seems to be pretty hot with. I guess they're Generation X, or what comes after Generation X, whatever that is.
Millennial.
Why?
Okay, so the later stages of Generation X, the early stages of Millennial. That's who seems to have kind of originated this whole, manosphere thing, even though folk like Kevin Samuels was a big player in it. I come from a generation that, look, I've been married for 25 years, okay, to one woman, to traditional types of thinking with this woman. So I come from an era where we just had self-confidence, but the world was different. All right. You can't holler at women in your workplace anymore. Okay. You have to think twice. What will she think 25 years from now to the person you have a one night stand with? Okay. So the dynamics are sort of different nowadays. I can understand that guys want some kind of balance because in the United States, in the Western world, also, you've got a lot of estrogen, okay? And I'm not just talking women. I mean, look at Justin Trudeau, okay? You've got a lot of estrogen out there. Look at this past week. We had Ocasio-Cortez and Nancy Pelosi just make Chuck Schumer look like crap. Okay, he's just taking it, right? So an Andrew Tate is a natural reaction for that segment of men who are men. Okay, voice is going to come out of that, and I think you see that in like the Kevin Samuels or the Andrew Tates, and there's some other guys out there. So call it what you will, manosphere. I think CT is right in that it does appeal to a segment of the male population that believes they're disenfranchised, and for whatever reason, too much soy latte or whatever, don't have the gumption to just get up and be men. Now, as far as what you were saying, Gimpy, about these charges with Andrew Tate, listen, I don't know much about the guy, but I do know this. Edward Snowden, Julian Assange, there's several that have been persecuted globally because they went against the grain. So as far as what he's up against in Romania, and I know even less about the Romanian justice system, so as far as what he's up against, I need to see a lot more evidence before I just dogpile on him and say, hey, he's guilty. Because we
dude admits, sorry,
Donald Trump, okay? We got a plethora of people out there. And I don't recall Tate coming out and saying, I'm a human trafficker. I don't recall him
but he did. But he has video of himself talking about how he ran his porn business, which all equates to admitting to forms of human trafficking, because all of it is through force and coercion, dude. That's what they were coming after him. They were using his own words against him. Please, this man is human garbage.
Be careful, man.
He supports some of the worst. Okay, it's fine. Because you can all protect him. That is fine. You're
being binary. You're being binary. No. I can't let you do that. Don't be binary. Okay, just because
you don't like him.
Just because I believe in the presumption of innocence doesn't mean that, I've never listened to anything the guy says, but this is just like the same argument where if you say, hey, I want peace and I don't want to spend taxpayer money on this crap in Ukraine, you sound like the people that come out and say, oh, you love Putin then. It's not a binary equation.
That this man openly, the information is out in the verse. His own words condemn himself. He has to say his argument is, oh, I didn't mean it the way I'm saying it here. That's literally his excuse for it.
How long has this trial been going on?
Poison pill. You want him raising your children. Listen to what he teaches men.
How long has this How long has this trial been going on?
Good point, Reason. Right.
How long has this trial been going on, bro?
Years. He's been arrested, incarcerated, released.
In Romania. When they go after him here, we'll see what a real justice system does.
Okay. Levitka Beria.
Not my problem that he had problems in Romania.
Levitka Beria said
it's human garbage. He literally pimped out women to make millions of dollars, and you're just sitting there like that's cool. He created this whole concept.
No, I'm going to push back. I'm going to push back against you again. I'm going to push back against you again vociferously. Again, stop being binary. Just because I believe in the presumption of innocence,
dude,
I don't know. Wait a minute. No. Wait a minute. Just because I believe in the I believe in the presumption of innocence, just because I believe, you got to let me finish my thought.
Hold on, give me.
Just because I believe in the presumption of innocence does not mean
his own words
any particular affinity.
His own words make him guilty.
All right, guys, hold on.
If that's your strategy, just to talk over me when I have a counterpoint, then we're not going to.
I heard your point. You keep repeating that the presumption of innocence and it has nothing to do with him. I'm pointing out to you that his own words are what's being used.
Your argument, you are betraying the weakness of your argument when you will not let me finish my thought.
Oh, okay. Sure, Tyrone. You just keep repeating the same thing over. And I'm saying that regardless of the presumption of innocence.
Hey, look, moderator, can I get a word in here edgewise without being cut off?
Hey, yeah, one at a time. But hey, guys, if you support Andrew Tate, let us know in the chat, or if you think otherwise, let us know in the chat.
It's not about supporting Andrew Tate.
But go ahead.
It's not about supporting Andrew Tate. And Gimpy, you have a superior intellect. So for you to betray that right now and try to cut me off when I'm trying to make a counterpoint, that is pretty disingenuous. Now, I will say it again, and I will say it one final time because you understand what I'm saying. Just because I believe in the presumption of innocence, and you got to be careful, Gimpy, because we live in 2025. And if you can come, because this can be done to you too, okay? Somebody can dig back into your past and find something, and then we'll have a Gimpy-like person out there that just says, "Oh, the hell with actually proving this in a court of law. Let's just take him out to the public square and hang him." Okay. So and again, and stick with this. Just because I am not jumping on the guilt bandwagon, I've never even watched anything with Andrew Tate. But you're persecuting me because
no, I was talking again. So one, my push was on Chad, not you, for starters.
No, you were talking to me.
No, the push that I gave that you started getting upset at was at Chad. But for you, I'll just say that my problem is I don't need a courtroom to hear another man's words and listen to what he. When it's one's own words on film, unedited, unabridged, right? I can judge for myself. I don't need 11 other people to tell me whether that's him saying that and those things are acceptable or not. I can do that for me, right? I think all of us can. So that's my point.
No, don't speak for all of us. Don't speak for me.
My point is with what Gimpy just said.
And everyone has the capability to make those choices, right? So I will make the choice that when I hear his own words of him on film, he doesn't deny it's him. He denies that he meant it. That's what he denies. He doesn't deny that he said it. He denies that he meant it the way it sounds. That's what
I'm just glad that
that's it. That's it.
Just the Guys podcast is immortalized because you're going to have to be morally consistent on that. Okay. So when it comes to someone else,
I will hold everyone who incriminates themselves in my mind, right? If I see a video evidence of someone admitting to what I perceive as a crime, I will continuously agree that person is admitting to a crime.
Yeah, your perception is that's what the key is. The key is I am not bound by how anybody perceives anything. I'm bound by how I meant it. Fuck how everyone else perceives it. I care not about that. It's only about how I put it out there. So
all right, so let's talk about that. So I want, and then I want you to continue, Reason. But I have this clip here of how Andrew Tate put out something, and we're going to respond.
Your daughter, one of them. Later on, she brings a guy home. He's like you, okay?
Okay.
And confident, not intimidated by you.
I'll whoop his ass, but
he's respectful, but he's confident, and he's kind of like you. He comes in with a swagger because that's what they're used to, right?
Of course.
They get married. 5 years later, they got 2 kids. Okay. She finds text messages. She finds out he's got a handful of girls on the side. You find out through your guys who run the clubs that they report, because people are going to, guys like us, we're going to be reported back. Everything's coming back to us. Of course. You find out he's hooked up with 3, 4, 5 girls on the side. Are you confronting him?
So I say this, and I've answered this question before, and people find my answer surprising, but I'm going to be very honest with you. My plan for my daughters, my number one hope for my daughters, if I could plan their lives head to toe, would be for them to, at a relatively young age, meet a man who is older than them, who can take care of them financially and get pregnant and have a family. If my 21-year-old daughter wanted to marry a 48, 50-year-old guy, I'd be very happy with that. I'd be like, good, he's probably settled down a bit, he has enough money to take care of you, you're going to be good. In this scenario, which you've just described, if the man is financially providing for her, if he's offering her provision and protection and she's safe, I would truthfully, from the bottom of my heart, say to her, look, there's no point losing the man who's paying for you, who takes care of you, who will die for you, who protects you, who does all of those jobs as a man because he's running around with a few silly girls. There's no point leaving him. You can confront him, we can talk to him, but there's no point in destroying your family home over this. That's what I would say.
So, Reason, how do you respond?
I respond to each their own. Like the world is the United States. The United States is not the world, and the problem is that people here in the United States have a bias because they believe and have only seen a specific thing. If you go into other countries, there are men that have multiple wives. There are in other cultures. There are I think it's Muslim culture. The only thing is, what is it if you're able to take care of all of them? You know what I mean? So what I mean, someone from another show that we did said something once that like actually threw me for a little bit of a loop because I never really thought about it that way. She said, it's crazy that how protective you are of your daughter. You have to understand also that if she was in another country, she'd be somebody's wife already with like 4 kids. You know what I mean? So I'm like, all right, so yay, to each their own. That's how I feel about it. I think we're just
how do you respond to that, man?
Because we're in the United States.
How do I respond to that video with Andrew Tate?
Yeah.
Again, I gotta agree with Gimpy, man. I see a guy who is, and I don't have a problem with Andrew Tate. He's taking advantage of, or he's exploiting a situation there. I hate to say it, man. It's over. It's over, Logic. This whole idea of if I had a daughter, and in my opinion, I'm just saying for me, you're going to see a drastic change within the next 5 years, man. You're not going to have daughters marrying wealthy guys, man, and these older guys are going to sweep them off their feet. You're not, man. I mean, you probably will. I mean, I guess, but you're going to see a lot more incels. You're going to see a lot of guys with AI robots. You're going to see a lot of guys not participating in this game anymore, man. And unfortunately, as a guy now, you might have to take care of your daughter as a father for the rest of her life, man. I have a different perspective on this, man. You guys really don't want to know what I think about this.
No, go ahead.
I was going to ask you why.
No, go ahead.
This sounds interesting.
No, go ahead. Okay, go ahead and give CT the big screen real quick.
Oh my God, you don't want to hear what I got to say about this.
Go ahead and give CT the big screen real quick.
And I'm gonna be brief. I get what Andrew Tate is talking about, and it sounds nice. It sounds magical, but a lot of guys, man, are not participating in this game. The more Western we become, the more wealthier we become. A lot of guys are gonna be, you're gonna see a lot of selfish guys, man, who they just rather be at home, man, and jerking off to porn, or particularly now with AI coming out, maybe robots now, or maybe just prostitution right now. You're gonna see a rise in prostitution. You're gonna see a rise in just paying for coochie. You're not gonna be a father like, oh man, yeah, that'd be awesome if a guy just was older and swept my daughter off her feet and took care of her. Man, that ain't happening, man. Divorce rates are sky high right now. God only knows what they will be in the next couple of years. It's over.
Why?
It's over, bro. It's over. The only men that, if you have a daughter now, God damn it. Don't hold back, CT. Just say it. I'm gonna say it.
Just say it.
If you are a man now and you have kids, be prepared. If you have a daughter, for her, if she gets a man, it's probably gonna be some foreigner. Other than that, it's not gonna happen, man. It's just not. Unless something happens in the future, we're never gonna go back to Stepford Wives. You're not gonna get this influx and people going back to church and meeting their significant other and the family goes to church. It's not happening. It's not. And so
I'm still looking for the why, CT. I said why. Come on, give me why.
Society is changing, bro. It is changing. And maybe I'm the only one who can see it. I don't know, man. I just don't see it, bro. I literally go out now and beautiful. I was out today by myself having some drinks, and it was beautiful girls all around me just sitting there by themselves, man. Like, I've never seen this before in my life, man. So many girls just sitting there just waiting for somebody to talk to them. And these dudes are not talking to these girls. It's like what Tyrone said, man. A lot of these dudes are hip, man. They're not going to want to talk to these girls. And then 20-something years later, something comes up. They're not. They already see this. They see this in real time. Oh, my God. I don't know how nobody's not seeing
the church analogy that he just gave, right? Yeah. Okay. Look at church. I mean, it's not what it used to be. All right. It's a social club that has got one, cult leader at the top, like Jamal Bryant, and he's really absorbing all the oxygen in the room.
Terrible.
Where the single women are concerned. So you got that one guy, and then you got all of the betas, the few males that you have. I've said this before, and you go to church, black church especially, any given Sunday, You got 100 people, right? 97 of them are women.
Yep.
Got 3 men. One's the old guy that's been coming to church forever, and he's got one foot in the grave, the other one a banana peel. One is the choir director. He's gay. Okay. And then you got that random guy that's on the make. Okay. That travels from church to church every month looking for, church girl. That's what you got, right? So you're not going to develop the relationship there. Damn sure are not going into your place of work trying to holler at a woman in 2025. Okay. Because the whole Me Too movement has destroyed that, right?
Yeah.
So I think he's right. For that, society has changed, and it will continue to. None of these institutions are going to get better in respect.
So what I believe happened is I believe feminism happened. It was course corrected, and before women find out how they are going to adjust to that course correction, it's going to be already too late. And it's probably gotten there. I mean, I think I might be, and no, I mean, there are a couple of us that have kids up here. I think I might be one of the few that still believe it's possible, because I believe that if it's not broken, it doesn't need to be fixed. And something that has never been broken is dads helping their daughters find the people that they're supposed to be with, because what marriage is the forming of two families. So, I mean, there's a reason today that, these marriages that are these newspaper marriages, like in other countries, still work. There's a reason that they still work. Half the problem is, people shouldn't even be dating. They shouldn't be.
But let me ask you this: is the reason they work in other cultures cultural? Okay, and are we lacking?
Facts. I'm agreeing with you. Okay. Yes, that's why I'm saying I feel estranged in my own culture. I do, and people look at me. They're like, I talk to people, and you know how often I get, "Hey, are you married to a black woman?" It's like, really, no, because we are straight traditionalists. I say all the time, my wife does for me. I know what women in the United States do not do for men today. And because of that, she'll be taken care of from the crown of her head to the sole of her feet for the rest of her life. And I mean, what did I hear today? Yesterday, what was it that? What were we talking about? Yeah, that marriage is becoming some kind of high end thing only for rich people. Like it's become one of those things that normal people.
Well, that's a narrative to keep a permanent underclass, because we know
absolutely.
I get that
the success. What is it? The success system in America. But yeah, go ahead.
Absolutely.
You're not going to be a real successful businessman and probably be single. It doesn't work like that.
Go ahead, CT.
Listen to what Andrew Tate said. He said, "I'll probably have to fight the guy." That's what he said. Did he not just say that?
Well, he
said, and then what did he say right after that?
Listen to the words he said. Hey man, a lot of dudes ain't into that shit no more. That being sunned by people, that what No, a lot of people can see Andrew Tate and see his escapades and his exploits. Ain't no young dude gonna want to be sunned by him. I'm like, man, what the fuck are you talking about? Hey man, listen, dude. I got an old guy on my channel named Ben. Right, I'm gonna advertise for him. He's a good guy, but he's living like it's 1970. That what jive. I'm gonna get you, sucker. Andrew Tate he's insanely intelligent, and he is exploiting this generation. It's the funniest thing. It's like comedy to me, man. A lot of these girls are not gonna be married, man. They're just not. A lot of dudes, man, they've seen, man. God damn it, man. Do you know how many super hot chicks I see on this phone in a day? Thousands. I just get the straw. I'm like, God damn, these dudes are so desensitized. These dudes are, man. A lot of these women won't even get married because a lot of these dudes are gonna just be like, they're gonna think like how women think. I want the best too. And I'm gonna tell you something else. Logic was gonna happen, man. A lot of dudes are gonna start just buying pussy, man. Buying porn
already.
It's because you think they do it now.
They do that already.
Man, all right.
Look,
Dude, I saw
this
someone
was
on
our
Facebook
first,
say, "Oh, go ahead."
our first show talked about this.
Yep.
And this is definitely going to happen. Advances in robotics are,
Oh, it's already.
Can we open the panel up to? Can we open the panel up to Hafiz? Is that all right?
Who?
Hafiz,
Top Banksy
Banksy.
style live.
Yeah, Banksy. Yeah.
How you
MGTOW's
doing?
the only way, huh?
Yeah, we having the call-in show on.
The call-in shows are on
the last Saturday of the month. But yeah, go ahead and get Banksy up here. You know how to reach out to him.
Yeah, he already said he wanted. Yeah, he wanted to come. He was already asking over the panel.
You just putting the.
Oh yeah. You want me to drop? Yeah, you could have sent me the link and I can send it to him. Yeah, I can reach out to him myself.
Link you used.
The same.
Yeah, I
got
got
on
it. I got it.
Look, I want to. Can I just say something? I've been sitting here nice and quiet, not to talk over anybody since I got yelled at for doing that before. So I just want to point out one: what did Andrew Tate say by his own words? Right? What is the description of the thing that he was described to answer? That your woman, your daughter, meets a man who's exceptionally older than her, marries her, gives her a life, and then it turns out that he has a stable of women that no one knew about. It's fine by him. His daughter being treated like that is okay as long as he can pay the bills, and it's okay. This man could go off and have all these secrets from your daughter, who is his wife. And you as fathers, anyone who stands back and says, well, let's consider how other cultures think about this. That says you about a father, because that says the situation, because that's the situation you're saying you're okay with. If you don't say that there's something wrong with a man having a secret stable of women hidden from his wife.
Hey, Bling, I see
let me
you shaking.
respond.
Hold on, Bling, let me say this. I see
Sorry,
you shaking your head, Bling.
How is that not accurate? That if you
I see you shaking your head, Bling.
It's okay to have a secret stable.
And what that means to me, Bling, is
I sat here quietly.
Wait, hold on. I thought you were.
I'm not done. It's very clear.
Okay, go
you
ahead.
have to answer to me. Why is it okay for him to say that a man can have a secret stable of women he kept hidden from his wife as long as he paid all the bills?
Okay, do you want to go, Reason?
No. I was just going to say I saw you shaking your head, and here's what I pick up from that, and I understand it completely. There's no arguing with Gimpy. He's going to feel the way he feels, and if you hit him in the face with something, he's just going to feel the way he feels.
But you got to respond to the question.
If he despises something,
reason. Respond to the question.
That is my response to the question.
Respond to the question.
That is my response to the question.
Okay.
Whatever you put out there, whatever answer it is, yes or no, it's not going to matter. That's my response.
Because no one said that it was okay. No one said that.
That's the point. That's the point. That's my point. If I vote for Trump, that doesn't mean I hate Kamala. Dude, I mean, like, what the fuck?
No, he said it was. You see this, right? None of them can answer logic. I have found the linchpin in this whole argument is he just said it is okay as long as he pays the bills. Right. And all of you not giving an answer on the moral certainty of that position means you're running cover. God bless. Namaste.
Listen, let me try this. Andrew Tate obviously thinks it's okay because that's what he said. But Gimpy, you got an issue with nuance. The world is not black and white. Okay, shades of gray. We didn't say that we agreed with him. Now be serious now, man. I'm responding to the question that you asked.
To get to the question, do you morally object to a man having a secret stable of women hidden from his wife as long as she pays all the bills? Yes or no? It's a binary question. I make sure to put it that way.
I do. However,
thank you. So the answer is yes, you do have a moral issue with it.
You're being somewhat disrespectful and not allowing me to expound on the question you asked me. Okay. Now, I just said I find it objectable, but I'm also cognizant of the fact there's 8 billion people on Earth. Many of them come from different cultures where they could legitimately say, based on their philosophy and culture, that they feel differently. And I guess that would be okay for them, wouldn't it?
Hey, Bling, I said earlier in the answer, to each their own. That was the very first thing I said.
Right.
And then it was also
He answered
stated
my
afterwards.
question, and he agrees it's morally reprehensible. He then goes
Well, then,
hold on. He
Fucking
then
Paris, I don't
goes
really
into
care.
an additional explanation.
Each
I
their own.
respect that. Do you, Chad, find it morally reprehensible if a person has a stable of women on the side hidden from his wife as long as he pays all the bills?
First, it's reason. I appreciate
I'm sorry, reason. I'm sorry, reason.
I understand.
My bad.
Like I said earlier, okay, because I answered this earlier. To each their own. Us here in the United States, I'm pretty much repeating myself. We here in the United States believe a specific way that we believe, and because we do, of course, I have an issue with that. Of course, I have an issue with that. That's because I live here. I'm sure if I was raised a different way in another country, I would probably feel a different way. But because I was raised here, our culture believes that there's issues with that. I don't understand why someone who has such a propensity to be so like pinpointed on specific things wouldn't remember that I said that earlier. This is my second time answering this question.
All right. So we got $2 super chat. Shout out to Imperious. Reason sounds like a biatch. Gonzo Heeb wins.
That's me.
Dude, it is what it is, man.
I appreciate the super chat. Yo, you guys, you can drop the super chat right there. Join the conversation.
Gimpy, I got a question for you.
Whatever you want to say, bro.
Gimpy, I got a question for you. Are you familiar with the geisha tradition in Japan?
Yes.
Okay. So then you know that it is culturally acceptable for the male head of the household to have a stable of women on the side.
That is known about.
Right.
That is known about.
In the scenario,
I'm saying that's a caveat. He talks about nuance. That makes a difference.
In the scenario he gave, it's known. In the scenario he gave, it's known.
To who? Not the daughter till she finds out through the text on the phone. Go back, listen to it. She finds it through
knows it
on his phone.
She finds it, so she knows it.
That's because he hid it from her. She snooped. Geishas are known facts. In Japan, also, the culture is you can sleep with your secretary because you spend as much time with her as you do your wife. So it's not actually.
So the scenario was
it's also
that
not
she now knows it.
You agree with those morally?
Now, the scenario was now that she knows, what do you do? She knows. She has knowledge.
But again, you are conflating the knowledge part because she found out by accident in the
Doesn't
scenario.
matter how she found out, she still has knowledge.
All right, guys. I will get our independent journalist in here. Thanks for joining the panel. You said MGTOW is the only way to go.
Yeah. Good evening, everyone. Thank you, CT, for vouching for me and inviting me on the panel. I hope everybody's well. I'm familiar with most of you guys from previous podcasts. MGTOW is, okay, two things. Number one, what Gimpy is arguing is he doesn't understand this red pill sphere in the sense that there is a long-standing argument that wealthy men with lots of options will inevitably cheat on their spouses, but their spouses should recognize that these men have a lot of options, and so if they are happy and content with the life that he's providing, they should accept a certain amount of stepping out of the house kind of thing. This is a long-standing thing that is debated across all the manosphere. I believe even Kevin Samuels addressed it. So if you have a very high-level guy, one of the 1%ers, then you are expected as a woman to recognize that he will step out. This has happened with Jay-Z, Bill Clinton, on and on. There's many examples of this. Even in France, the successful women recognize that when they're with a successful man, he's going to have mistresses. In France, it's fully accepted that a very successful man usually has multiple mistresses as well as his wife, and other cultures similarly. So don't think this is some Asian thing. This is some Middle Eastern harem situation or geishas in Japan. The Italians know it. The French know it. A lot of different European cultures know highly successful men have options, and they will take advantage of those options. And the woman, if she's content and happy with the lifestyle that he's providing, and he's willing to provide, protect, and all the rest, then she should accept a certain level of stepping out. So that's that. The MGTOW thing. Sorry.
To go along with that, and can you tell me if I'm correct or not? The one stipulation with what you just said is he usually will let the wife know. Is that correct? Like
it's not necessarily directly no. It could be just well understood within the household. I don't think Hillary Clinton necessarily knew about Monica Lewinsky, but she kind of understood how Bill is.
She had a history of banging with Monica Lewinsky.
Exactly, it was understood. But it's like unspoken rules.
Hafez, you added the 1% in, right? The scenario is just well enough to take care of her older guy. Right? Listen to what Patrick Bet-David asks, then listen to what he answers. And the scenario is a guy who owns a successful plumbing business, has a couple $1 million in the bank. Is that the 1% to you? Does that qualify to that level? Does he meet the threshold that he's allowed to cheat?
Well, if you have a couple of $1 million, you are 1%.
So if you broke,
if you have 500,000, you're
let me ask, if you're broke,
that's all it takes.
This doesn't matter.
1%.
No. If you're broke, you don't have options. Women are not running to men who work at McDonald's.
Some of the biggest philanderers I know are broke.
No. But what I'm saying is that
friends with a guy who dated 6 women at once. None of them knew about. Well, that's not true. He had a system where number 1 didn't know about the other 5. Number 2 knew about number 1, but not the other 4. Then 3 about 2 and 1, but not the ones that came after her. Right? Like the ones that came after knew about the ones that came before them, but not
too much work.
Not the before them.
What you're saying?
How did you remember all this?
Right. What you're suggesting then?
The dude had no money to his name. Nothing.
What you're suggesting then is this is less to do with economics and maybe more to do with just what women are willing to accept at whatever socioeconomic strata they're in.
Well, I will say this, that yes, I saw an article, I think it was a Dr. Phil episode where a homeless guy was dating multiple women. He was literally homeless and he was occasionally staying at these women's houses. He was living on the streets, but he was able to, had mad game. But women will not marry and settle down with a guy like that. They may have sexual relations with him, but broke guys don't get women often marrying them, especially multiple women marrying them. Broke guys, on average, we're not talking about exceptions. Again, you can point to outliers, but on average, if you're broke, unless you're exceptionally good looking, you're not getting women. Majority of men in history have died virgins. Most men who went to wars in the Roman armies and the medieval times and the World War I and II were virgins. They died virgins. They never mated. So that's the reality of life. If you are not exception, if you don't put yourself out there, you will die a virgin or sexless. Women are not coming for you. They're not knocking on your door. Even those good-looking men. So the bottom line is, men have to make an effort. They have to create themselves to become exceptional in order for women to be attracted to them. Women don't. Most of the time don't. The old saying is, women are born rich and die poor. Men are born poor and die rich. Facts. That's how it is. That's the facts of life. Now, as far as the MGTOW movement is concerned, what is happening with the MGTOW is we generally respond to the world in which we are presented with.
So first, are you MGTOW?
I would say, okay, I mean, since I'm dating a person right now, I'm purple pilled. I'm not I'm not exactly a MGTOW monk, but I recognize the philosophies. The will has been lifted from my eyes. I recognize female nature, female hypergamy, and all the other things that come with knowing women. Now, for that reason, I maneuver differently than I did when I was younger. I'm less led by my urges than I was when I was younger, but I still do follow some of the basic tenets of MGTOW, which is never marry, never allow them to move in with you, never fully commit to a woman that will then potentially financially damage you. So never put yourself in a position a woman can actually take your stuff from you or divorce you, or fleece you. But other than that, I still date women. I like women. I like sex, and it's kind of hard not to. I mean, I tried last year. Was it last year or a year before? I tried to do the whole MGTOW monk thing. No sex. I lasted, I think, 3 months, and it was excruciatingly hard. It was.
How old are you? How old are you?
I don't want to give the. Let's put it this way. I am in the latter 40s.
Okay, got you. Thank you.
So
Yeah, since I think I match most of the people's age on the panel. The thing is, what I did find is, as you do get older, your testosterone levels do kind of lower, and that makes the sexual urges much easier to deal with. It's still incredibly difficult, and this is the element which we're missing out, I think, when it comes to these sort of objective, cold conversations. Is men are just checking out. Men will never check out of women, because the sexual urges, the testosterone that runs through your average man, will compel him towards women. It's just that some men are burying their head in video games and online, OnlyFans or whatever, to try to distract themselves from these incredibly strong urges through testosterone. But men will never check out of women unless there is a viable option, which is what you guys mentioned to, like sex robots, etc., etc. But right now, I'll be honest, the sex robots look more like the T-800 from the Terminator than they do an actual viable female. So no, I'm not putting my Johnson in between something that could lock up on me and then need the jaws of life in order to release it. So I'm not calling the fire brigade to release me of my sex doll anytime soon. That's
so let me ask:
happening.
Do you? So you don't think? You disagree with CT on this and Tyrone, that sex bots and AI are going to replace women?
There will be a transitional period. I don't think complete replacement, because it's just like, right now you can get Beyond Burger, right? It's Beyond Burger. It is so brilliant. It tastes just like regular burger, but it's still vegetarian. No, nobody's buying that. I still want a burger. I still want meat. There will always be a market for the real stuff. So there will always be a market for the real thing. There will just be people who will, use these just like video games. Essentially, the way I've seen the current real dolls and stuff, it's just a very high level form of masturbation. That's all it is. It's not a relationship.
Well, no, it'll never be a relationship. Well, I won't say never, but
with AI being a component,
that's quite a ways off. For you to be in a position where you at least you think it's a relationship.
Yeah, again, there are lots of people in Japan who are having relationship with AI women on their phone or on some kind of holographic thing that they've generated now. It's all sort of weird things going on. Believe me, all of this freaky stuff is going to come out of Japan. Number one place is going to be Japan. These people are freaks. They have tentacle things and all sorts of creepy stuff. So any of this stuff is going to be Japan. The other thing I'm actually concerned with is I think Western countries will actually make if the sex robots become very realistic, futurist, film style, like 100% realistic type of cyborg. Western countries, through feminists, will actually ban them. The feminists will push the weak men of politics that we have to ban these things, because it is a direct affront and threat to feminism. Feminism plays a big part in a lot of this, what's happening in Western world, and people, I don't know whether they don't want to address it, they don't want to acknowledge it, but feminism is what's given us this modern world.
No, you're right. But I will call this neo-feminism, because think about it. One of its characteristics is that it acknowledges that men do everything better than women, including
being women.
Okay, so it's neo. It isn't Gloria Steinem's feminism, I guess.
Yeah, you're right about that. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
Yeah,
Guys.
I mean, there's a lot to unpack here, and I will say this about Andrew Tate. Just one last final word.
Yeah, go ahead.
Andrew Tate should be in prison for the things that he's done. He will never see prison again because he's managed to, I think, line himself well enough now in order to make sure that he won't go back to prison. But if you actually, I have most of his work. I have his PhD course. I have all of his other sort of his PhD's pimping hose degree is what he calls it. All of that stuff, and he step by step teaches you how to use the Loverboy method to seduce women and get them into online cam work. It is highly illegal, and he literally gives you step-by-step instructions on his own videos. So if the evidence is to go by, this man would be in prison. But unfortunately, we don't live in a world of justice. We live in a world of money, finance, and influence. And through his money, finance, and influence, he will not see inside of another jail cell again.
I don't know much. I've never followed Andrew Tate. I've seen clips of him, stuff like that. But where is what he's doing illegal, right? If he's got this paperwork out here and you've got this track record of what he's doing, where is it illegal?
Everywhere.
Why is he not? It's like, so why?
Came after him when they came after him in Romania, that fell to pieces, and they have to start over. It's not dismissed. They literally are starting over. They're trying again. They didn't give up. He's coming here, and attorney generals in multiple states are investigating him now. He's been hiding in Romania under house arrest. He's been safe because the Romanians have had him in a state of non-existence where he was trapped in his house. Now that he's free and amongst the world, that's why he's trying to make the biggest impact he can, to have as much of the popular square behind him as he can build. That's his whole PR thing now, because he was coming back to trouble. It wasn't to not trouble. They were looking for him. I'm not saying they weren't. Look, dude, if you want to say that he's innocent until proven guilty, fine. That's a reasonable thing to say. But I judge based on myself on top of that. I don't need a court to tell me whether, because I'm not judging him to go to jail. I'm judging him whether I deem him worthy of having a good message, of being a moral and honest person.
No, listen, as far as the presumption of innocence, you're not obligated to that doctrine. That is something that applies to the government, to the justice system. So you are perfectly entitled to feel however way you want about it. My issue was that you were being a bit binary in suggesting that, I'm somehow an advocate of him because I have a different view in terms of the legitimacy of the prosecution. And hey, yeah, I'm funny this way. I like to see a guilty verdict before I take a man out back and execute him.
That's
me too.
All reasonable, but at the same token, you do exclude people from your sphere of influence before a guilty verdict, right?
Oh, well, he was never in mine.
I didn't say he was in yours, yeah. and I apologize if you think.
No, it's cool. I'm just clarifying.
Right, like I'm saying it in the sense that it has to be spoken that he says immoral things. He does.
This guy, William Luther Pierce, he wrote this book called The Turner Diaries, which is like this. It's almost a Bible for the white nationalist community, right? Now, a lot of guys that read that book went on to be convicted of some pretty heinous crimes. He was never convicted of it. So I'm just using that as an analogy to what Hafez said about, Tate has put out material, okay? But in this country, I don't know about Romania, but in this country, that's been established that you can put out all the material that you want,
as long as it's not incitement. Yes.
Right.
But
if somebody gets shot, do you blame the gun or the shooter?
Again,
You know what I
I
mean?
blame the guy who taught him how to shoot as much as the guy who shot, right? Because if the guy taught him how to shoot, knew he was psychotic when he did that, he should have a pause, right? There is a responsibility.
That's a slippery slope.
There's too much of that.
Shout out to Kung Fu CJ with the $2 super chat. Tate is the biggest pimp on the planet.
Man. If some
but am I a firearms instructor or am I a trained psychologist?
Again, that's not what I mean. Okay, you're
But
making it like I want you to give him a psych
how could I
survey.
be?
But let's say a homeless guy who clearly looks right, like from your perspective, is rambling to himself and looks like he might have a mental illness, right? And hasn't showered for 6 months and hasn't groomed or had a proper meal, and he comes up to you and he asks you to teach him how to shoot. Right, like that doesn't that give you pause that you have to exercise good judgment? I'm just saying, like there are periods in time, like you guys make it seem like life moves along so cleanly.
I'm actually about to agree with you that extreme situation would give me pause.
Extreme.
I'm trying to make it binary when I speak so that you can't hide in the gray. That's my point.
No,
not you personally.
I get what you're saying. No, I get what you're saying.
Right. So this whole thing with Andrew Tate, my problem with it, forget not you guys, but in general, with Con Inc. platforming him, it's for clicks. It's not because they support his messaging. They don't. Most people say, okay, you can have it. You're right. You're entitled. It's a free market, whatever. But they don't actually support what he's saying. So by giving him a platform, not giving him any pushback, which go watch every interview, there's no pushback in anything he's done lately. And no one to come out and speak that there's some sense of we should have some moral outrage for some of the stuff he says, because I don't know. I don't have a daughter, but I know people who do, and I have family who have daughters. I have nieces, and they have daughters, and I wouldn't be okay with the things he says about what women are supposed to accept happening to any of those people. So every chance I get, I will speak out against those sorts of things, and that's where I stand.
I think the hesitancy you see among people that are interviewing him to get into the weeds of what he's been charged with is he's probably told them, I'm not talking.
What about just responding to some of these statements on their moral platform instead of walking past them and like they're whistling past the graveyard? Go watch these interviews. He says some outlandish stuff in the interviews that should be pushed back. And there is no feedback or pushback.
Logic, get him on the show. Let's
get Andrew Tate here. Yeah, dude, yeah, I'll talk. I'm not mad at him. God bless. He's one who makes a living, like he wants to do it. But it's God bless me too for sitting there and saying that I'm just not going to be allowing that to go unchecked. Right? Like,
look, what Andrew Tate discovered was that he has to get access to the simps that are willing to throw money at women. What he discovered was in his first steps was that I can put a girl in front. The girl entices the simp. I will do the talking in order to manipulate the simp, which is what he literally confesses, that he, in his cam business, did the talking. He had the keyboard and he was viewing everything, and the girl was just simply an image, which he then, conned the person through. What he discovered was that, unfortunately, dealing with these girls is too much of a headache. I have to make a more direct connection with the simp, because the simp is the one that's got the money. The girl is just actually an avenue to that simp. So he realized after, I guess, 10 years of doing it, is that he's got to cut these girls out, because the girls have got headaches. They claim all this and that, and I was abused, and all sorts of court cases. And then he discovered, I will sell these people lifestyle rather than hot girls. And that's how he cut out the girls and went straight to the simp and said, you come give me your money, I will get you your Bugatti Chiron, I will get you the mansion, I'll get you the hot girls. That's how I'll do it. I'll be honest, the religious people have been doing this for centuries. They've been selling heaven.
So let's wrap up, guys. We're going to end with this question here, because if there's a push to get rid of Andrew Tate because of impact on young boys, who will these boys then look up to?
If their fathers aren't there,
supposedly there was supposed to be their father. That's how they were supposed to look up to. But if lacking of that, due to again feminism encouraging single mothers, then unfortunately your statesmen, your politicians, your people of supposedly moral good character are supposed to step up to fill that gap, but they're not, because we have politicians who I wouldn't leave alone with a child. So yeah, what do we got? What do we got in replace? What we got? Hollywood with all its degeneracy. Where should a young man growing up with a single mother, where should he look to?
That's a good question.
Well, the problem is he's going to end up looking. No matter what, we could say social media has a really strong grip on our culture and society and children today, and in parenting, you're fighting all of that information that they have that's constantly flooded into them. But still, they're going to get the majority of what they're learning from who's closest to them, and sadly, it's still going to be that single mother. And they're going to grow up, and they're going to be the most dangerous thing in the world, in my opinion, still to this day, is an emotional man. Someone who cannot control his emotions, someone who isn't stoic, can't think logically, can't sit back and go, you know what? If I don't do this, or if I do this, I'm completely going to look past the fact that what I did do can alter my life or alter the life of a person that I've been around, and just not get that. So, yeah, I think we're into more really, really sad and sad times, because the majority of these men are still going to be just a bunch of emotional dudes who've been raised by the single moms, and as long as the laws are the way they are, then you know what, there's nothing really that can be done to change that, unless we just have a group of men who just block out everything and say, you know what, I don't care about what feminism and feminists say and all of that good stuff. If you think this is the patriarchy or whatever, just step into your role. And if the people around you don't conform to it, leave them behind. And that will end up creating change as well.
What about you, Tyrone? Do these young kids have anybody to look up to?
Well, optimally, as Hathah said, the father. But it's tough, man, because this is not necessarily a brand new problem from a societal standpoint, but I do agree that the degree of the problem is much greater than it's ever been. So I wish I had an answer.
Gotcha. What about you, Gimp? If we get rid of Andrew Tate, if he's in jail in the Romanian prison,
it doesn't matter. If we're in a society, like, to be fair, for all my outrage tonight, the fact that we're in a society where Andrew Tate has the bigger platform than, I don't know, Thomas Sowell or any of the million other people who are better role models than Andrew Tate, it's too late. So it doesn't matter. These fathers abandon their kids. I mean, you want the truth? The truth is men created all this. We did. We wrote the laws that created the environment that you all are bitching about. We wrote them, not women. Men wrote them. Men passed them. Men legislate them. You know why? So men didn't have to take responsibility for one night stands. That was the math. The math is we're going to write all this to create a society that allows us to have sex with anybody and anything at any time. And we'd be damned what the consequence is. So here we are. We're pontificating about it and whatever. But that's what it is, man. We're worried about Andrew Tate, dude. We got a million problems that come to lead us to Andrew Tate.
So CT,
yo,
who are these young men looking up to, man? They looking up to you?
I would hope not. I mean, I'm no one to look up to. I'm just an ape living on a floating rock in infinity. I don't know anything. If Andrew Tate is not to be looked up to, they will find some other charlatan, some other God figure, some other individual that fills in some gap, some void. And, we're not going to see an end to this. So, yeah. Hopefully they should look up to their fathers, but, I got to agree with Tyrone on that. Look up to your father, but maybe they don't have a strong father at home. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm here for the ride, Logic. I'm here for the ride. The older I get, I just realize I'm just here to enjoy the ride, man.
Yeah, I can dig it.
Yeah,
I can dig it. Guys, well, we're getting out of here tonight. It's been a real engaging discussion. I think I'm still more confused than when we started, because Look, just from my point of view, I think the manosphere is needed, but also not needed. We got here because of ourselves, but then we have to get ourselves out of the mess too. To the point of the question, I do think fathers are what's needed, but fathers have been run out. It's been, I always say, if you want to destroy a community, always take away the men. But also, if you want to then make some money, you can also exploit those same people that you've now taken away. And I think that's a little element of what the manosphere is doing. But I do think there are some positive elements, as with anything. There's some positive elements of men starting to look internally. Are you the right person? Are you the attractive, or being a person that you want to attract? You know what I mean? Like, you want this hot girl. Are you in the gym? Are you, working out? Are you handling your finances? Are you doing those type of things to be the person that attracts those positive things? Or do you just say, well, they should like me just because I'm a man? And I think, when we're having these conversations, like you're getting all these dynamics in it, which, and we just live in a world of extremes. So the loudest voices on both sides get play. So I do think the manosphere is necessary, but also it's because of our own doing, to the point of Gimpy. Because men wrote the laws, but men also ate from the tree. We talk about
So
Adam
it's
and Eve and
Eve's
stuff.
fault? Is that what we're saying? We're blaming Eve here? Is that where this ends? Okay. Just want to be sure.
Well, I mean,
25,
if you go back and say, why did you listen to that woman? So
that
Because
why
did
that
you
have personal
why did
responsibility?
you listen to that?
yeah. I mean,
Why did you do it?
Just
You,
saying.
you.
What's up,
Thank you,
Alves?
Tyrone. I rock with you, Tyrone. No matter how we fight on the air, me and you will always be boys. This man busted a move at my wedding with Tiana. No one else. Just saying.
I just want to point out there is hope in this sphere, in this at the end of this dark tunnel. I mean, there are people like Jordan Peterson, which we didn't really touch on, but there are men of character that can be depended upon amongst the charlatans and amongst the grifters. It's just that it is hard to parse between them. Because there isn't that many Jordan Petersons and others like him, and Thomas Sowell and others. So, there is hope. There is hope. But unfortunately, there is, again, I quote this all the time, and I said it before Joe Rogan. Hard times create strong men. Strong men create good times. Good times create weak men. Weak men create hard times. Yep. And unfortunately, I think we're in our weak men era.
Yeah, I mean, it used to be a thing where you could run off to the military if you wanted to express those masculine urges of a desire for adventure and discipline. But of late, even the U.S. military, the Western militaries, they're pushing transgenderism, so you have subject yourself to that bullshit, and we've seen a corresponding decline in recruitment across the West.
All right, guys. Well, that does it for tonight. We got to also remember Only Monkeys Litter. And tonight we're just going to close out with this video because we still need men to be men. Regardless of how you get there, we still need men to be men and stand up and have a voice. So we're going to play this clip and get out of here. So here we go.
The white gaze, or the white man's gaze, the white man sitting on her shoulder, telling her not to write those things. We are, I'll just be bold and claim, undeniably sitting in systems that are meant to assimilate us. The whole founding of formal education in these territories was meant to erase indigeneity, scrubbed clean to participate in a settler society. Why bring that up now? Well, we still live in a settler colonial reality. Flick that white man off your shoulder. And it's not about individual white people, individual white men. It's about the settler colonial reality and the settler patriarchy that pushes us to move and behave in certain ways, that what if that wasn't there? Because I realized once you flick the settler gaze, the person holding that settler gaze off your shoulder, who takes the place? My ancestors took the place. The white gaze, or the white man's gaze,
Like,
the
I
white
cut
man sitting
Tyrone
on her
off for
shoulder,
less.
telling her not to write those things.